If you're not willing to do the learning work, you can't have financial freedom. You just can't. You have to study money. If you want to be successful with money, you have to study it. And that's why I love what you do. I loved listening to Mary Buffett's podcast on your thing the other day. If people aren't subscribed to your stuff, they really need to subscribe to it. One podcast isn't enough. You've got to keep listening.
Welcome to Financially Free Podcast with your host, Nay Torres. One of the reasons Nay could retire when he was 25 years old is because he was coached by the best. And now through this podcast, so can you.
Welcome everybody to the show. Today I'm interviewing Ray Liu. Ray, welcome to the show.
Very glad to be here.
So the reason I wanted to interview you is because you are starting becoming a successful trader in a very short time. So can you tell me a little bit why trading is important to you? How did you end up here? And what will be the expectations for somebody that's coming for the first time?
So I'm Ray. I live in California. So professionally, I used to work in a large bank in the field of analytics. I first started trading right before the great financial crisis, right? A perfect time to start as a newbie. And I think I took some courses and really jumped right into the market, really without knowing what I'm doing, and probably did all the wrong things. I made all the mistakes that you could ever imagine. Long story short, I restarted trading 10 years later, and having learned the lessons that I've learned in the past, and now kind of starting to get on the right path, quote unquote right path of working on my beliefs, my personal psychology, and kind of really develop myself as a trader first. And now I have a completely different view about what the market represents. And to me today, right, the market is really a teacher of, a spiritual teacher, if you will, really a teacher to me on many aspects. It teaches me about humility. It teaches me about patience and discipline. So, I see myself really more as a student of the market. And this is what trading is for me. It's just in a way, I think you have to be a better person first, and then you can be a better trader. And again, quote unquote better, just meaning all the aspects of personal growth and development. So that's sort of why I trade today, right? And I can tell you more about how I got here, all the mistakes in a little bit, but just in a nutshell.
That is a perfect introduction and a very good insight. I do agree with you. Most people, I think you and I got into this for the wrong reasons. And then we find out that this is very, very interesting because this is screen in front of you and this dot jumping up and down is just a reflection of your beliefs and your belief system. And it can drive you crazy, or you can develop as a person, as you said. When did you have that realization?
I think I went into trading for excitement. It was just, I think personally, I like adventures in life, and I like going on backpacking trips and all of that. So very much also like type A personality and overachiever, you name it, all these qualities. I think I went into trading because it's exciting, and then I wanted to win, right? I wanted to win all the time. Making big money was kind of never like really the big driver. It's kind of a byproduct, but I wanted to be a winner, and then I'm always very competitive, and also the market offers endless excitement, right? It's always something very exciting happen and changing all the time. So that's kind of the appeal of the market back then, 10 years ago, like I said, before the financial crisis. And I took some courses in option trading, and I, without any stock trading experience, I went right into options, which pretty risky, and especially when you don't know what you're doing. And I know you had interviewed Dr. Van Dark in another episode. A funny story here is I actually, when I first started trading, I actually had a teacher recommended a book, Dr. Tharp's book, Safe Strategy for Investing, I think. Actually Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. Introduced me to the book. But when I, read a few pages of the book, and I thought, well, it's all about psychology, and I don't need that. Right. I was looking for kind of quote unquote useful stuff about trading and systems, whatnot, strategies. And when I saw the psychology section, I thought, I don't need that. So I kind of just put the book back onto the shelf and then proceeded to ruin my account. So, as you know, one of the most important concepts Dr. Tharp talked about is position sizing, right? How much you bet is one of the most critical factor in determining the fate of your trading accounts. But I clearly didn't learn that, and I just really bet way too much. My position sizing was just crazy. It's something that I would never ever do. Like today, right? If I reflect back on what I did before, which is insanity, right? So of course the account was quickly pretty much wiped out, and and at the same time, that I was very emotionally hurt. It was painful for all the people who have traded before, and losing money is never fun, right? It's especially to kind of almost decimated the account was really just emotional, so painful, and then I kind of vowed never to get into the market again. So essentially, I set out the entire bull market for 10 years. So
Ouch.
that's what
Yeah.
happened. And, yeah.
So
And so that.
so what makes you after 10 years come back into trading?
Oh, so I came back to trading in 2017. Coincidence, or you may call it synchronicity. I think I'm ready, maybe, I guess, spiritually, I was ready to learn the lessons that I needed to learn. And then somehow, like, even though I swore I'm never going to trade again, never going to touch the market again. And somehow, coincidentally, I started, get back into trading. And then actually, so 10 years later, right? So I read the book. I said, well, okay, maybe let me just read this book and see if there's anything useful. And the second time around, I just almost finished the book in like one sitting, or like, not one sitting, but very quickly. And I was like, oh my God, if I had knew about position sizing 10 years ago, it would be a very different story. It was just a very, like, I got the concept position sizing and how powerful it is. So that's when I realized, wow, I really need to learn to become a trader, to really succeed in trading. I need to learn. There's so much I didn't know at all. So it's almost like you don't know what you don't know, right? And like in 17, when I started trading again, I realized, okay, there's so much information that I need to study. So that's when I kind of came back to trading, and then my view about the market had changed at the time as well. I started to trade again. I realized it's really just all about you and your own thoughts, right? When you're sitting in front of the computer, as you were saying, like your dots, it's like you're kind of alone with your thoughts there. It's you're essentially just manifesting whatever's in your head. As Van would say, you don't trade the market, you trade your belief about the market, right? Sometimes you could be so in your head, you don't really see what's going on at all. You're just seeing what you wish to see or what you're afraid to see. So you're not seeing the market. And then I actually went to take some workshops at Van Tharp Institute and join Dr. Tharp's Super Trader program. In the workshop that I attended, I learned so much about myself. Dr. Tharp will always say that psychology is like 100%, right, of trading success, the most important factor for sure. Through my learning at the Van Tharp Institute, and then through the Super Trader program, I really learned that there's so much I didn't know about myself. As a trader, I have to develop who I am and then just know more about myself, and then overcome some psychological issues that I'm prone to have. Then everything else becomes easier.
So would you agree that probably you had to unlearn some things you learned from that episode 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like, there's some emotional charges and pain, and you have to release and get healed in a way, right? So you don't have that fear anymore. And the other thing is really the kind of the bad habit that a lot of the beginning traders make is the attitude toward losses, right? Losing money, and just take it as the part of the cost of doing business, right? If you think about trading as a business, you have a cost of doing business, and you're gonna have losses, right? They don't get into the loss trap. Or yeah, that's actually a very important concept. A lot beginner trader will do not understand and kind of fall prey of is being stuck in the loss trap, which is essentially you don't want to take losses because it's kind of a negative, right? It generates negative emotion. You don't feel good about yourself, right? And then you find reasons not to honor your stops, or you don't even have a stop, right? And then your loss gets bigger and bigger. You kind of trapped deeper and deeper. Eventually, you have to throw in a towel, or maybe often it's too late, right? So that's the loss trap, and that's definitely one of the things. If I think back about the positions that I did 10 years ago, it was definitely just a classic case of getting stuck in the loss trap. It's you're just like hoping, right, it will come back, but it's gone, right? And then
Been there,
yeah.
done that, and I can tell you that is probably the most stressful day of my life. I can remember it like yesterday, and it was probably over 15 years, maybe 16 years ago. I remember it because it's so painful, isn't it?
Yeah. Finally say, okay, I can't take it anymore. I'm getting out, and oftentimes you probably get out the very bottom. And then it's just
So you're talking to yourself, right? Let's say you can talk to yourself in the past. What expectations would you set to yourself, to somebody that's listening right now? they want to do trading. I always tell them, please do trading, because I know they're going to have to develop personally. So I hope they do become traders. What will be the expectations to run or go through?
In terms of trader development, right?
Right.
As a person. Okay. I think fundamentally, I think a trader needs to really kind of confront maybe the biggest demon in your own personal psychology which is acceptance, self-acceptance. I think like especially for people who are kind of type A and who really like looking for achievement, wants to do well, and oftentimes I think like no matter how successful in your profession, when you turn into trading, I think it's a kind of a very different game because you have to like unlink, right, or disconnect, like unlink your self-worth with your trading result, right? Especially on a individual trade basis. I think that's one of the biggest things is don't take each individual trading outcome personally, right? Because there will be winners and losers, and I think people go into trading set to win all the time, and they refuse to accept losses. But you have to take losses, as just part of the game, and without making it affect your psychology. I think different people obviously have different thresholds. This is where kind of having a trading system that fits your personality is very important. Maybe talk about that a little bit, but first thing first is just learn to accept losses. It's almost like, I don't know if you practice for those who practice martial arts, right? Or boxing, right? You kind of have to learn to take a beating first. Before you become successful, or you have to learn to take some hits and then and just kind of work your psychology so that it doesn't destroy your self-confidence. You don't link your self-worth with your trading outcome, and when you do, it just asks for ruin, I think.
I really like that. Some other thing that you said the other day, you were being interviewed, and I heard something that you said, and it made a click. I've never thought about it before, but it's you clarified. It's not like I'm waiting for a signal to appear. I am ready,
Mm.
and then I pick signals. The market is there to serve me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a slave of the market, which value investors say it all the time, but traders also do. And it's the first time I hear it. Can you explain that a
Oh
little bit
yeah,
more?
sure. I think this is probably the topic of FOMO, right? Like the fear of missing out, which is I think for beginner traders, like two biggest hurdles. One is refusing to take losses, right? So you get stuck in the loss trap. And then on the other side, right, is greed. The FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's a big time psychology issues, facing traders, especially beginning traders. And they don't want to miss it. And say, oh, there's as if there's no other opportunities, and you see something going up parabolically, and say, oh, I have to get in, right? Whenever you say I have to get in, now I actually, I tell myself whenever if I have the thought of I have to get in on this, that's a clue, that's a cue for me to don't do anything, walk away. Because FOMO is kind of really big enemy to traders. And that's why I said, the market, don't be a slave to the market, but don't let the market kind of push you around. You stay very grounded and centered. Just from a psychological standpoint, the market is always kind of throwing opportunity at you, right? As you make the decision if is this good enough for me to take or not, right? Based on your objectives, system criteria, and etc. And there are days sometimes when the market is in a really good condition, right? It's a good day on the market, right? But if I'm psychologically, for whatever reason, right, if I'm too busy, or I'm just I didn't sleep well, or whatever reason, right, or I'm kind of like moody, or something else happened that I'm not in a good mood, right, then I know psychologically I'm not ready to trade. So even if the market has perfect opportunity there, I know I'm not walking in, right? I'm not taking it because I'm not ready. But when I'm ready, and then I will go into the market and see what's there and then decide.
Can you explain me a little bit what is the process for you to be ready? What is a day on your life look like, a normal day?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for me, part of the kind of getting into the ready state or it involves a lot of meditation. I do, I meditate like 30 to 45 minutes every morning, and like first in the morning, and I get up. I'm an early bird, right? I get up very early, and so I meditate and I run. I do like about 30 minutes running, like a few miles. So I'm kind of just clear everything, and I'm in this. Dr. Tharp will talk a lot about mental state. It's being in the right state. It means everything in trading and pretty much everything you do in life. It just you want to be in a good mental state, and this the market will be the same, but if you're in the wrong state, then you can't trade well. So for me, it's all about clearing myself and getting centered. And so I know what's important. And then the market, I actually view the market as a spiritual teacher, right? It's teaching me lessons of being patient, of being disciplined. These are all important lessons in life. And humility, right? That's another very important factor. Whenever you think I've had days where like winning streak, or think, oh, I'm invincible, right? these thoughts, but then the market will prove right to you that you're not. So it's a great teacher. So that's I think you have to determine your relationship with the market. For me, it's the market serve as my teacher right now. And it's giving me good lessons. And then whenever my trading performance very well, it's actually a very objective teacher. So my trading performance usually is very well, correlated with my state of my psychology or level of consciousness, if you will.
Really? Tell me a little bit about that.
I think when I operate at a higher level of consciousness, a good state or flow state, it's very intuitive almost. I follow Gabriel's system, as you know. It's kind of a rule-based discretionary system with there some amount of discretion when I'm in a good state, and there are sometimes their intuition that will come in, and it's almost like as if you're one with the market, if you know what I mean, kind of like being in the zone and in the flow, and then you kind of just have a feel of what's going on and connect with the energy of the market, for lack of a better word. And
you're in the
zone. You just
you
just know what to do in a way, right? And conversely, in the not in the optimal state, it just you're driven by all the ego's ideas of wanting to win and like vanity or whatever, right? The egotistic factors. Then you just make all the wrong decisions. You see things that don't even exist. You're just making up things at that point. So
and that was another thing that I've learned from what you were saying is you said I didn't realize I was making my own rules as you were learning Gabriel's rules. By the way, people listening, Gabriel is a teacher in the Banthar Institute that teaches Forex and futures. So just in case. But you said that and it was really interesting. And I realize now because I'm taking trading again, because I was never really good at trading. So I wanted to visit that part of my personality and see what it takes to learn. And one of the things I realize is it takes a while. It is way more difficult, not because of the rules, but because of the rules we create in our mind. So if for somebody that's starting out, how long do you think it will be a reasonable time frame to be successful in trading? Not talking about all the good benefits that we've been talking about. You are, by the way, the perfect person to interview because I've always wanted to interview people about trading, but I was afraid of focusing too much on the numbers, on the wrong reasons, as I say. But now going to those more tangible reasons, how long will it take somebody to become profitable?
No, I think that really depends on such a cliche answer, but that I think it's I would almost say that's impossible to say because each person's personality, the state of the psychology, and how much work is needed. The psychology is so different. Gabriel would say like I think it's actually. Yeah, I don't think it's possible to put a estimate of time. It really depends on each individual, but most people will, what I think is true is that most people underestimate how long it takes. It's, if you think about become a brain surgeon, right, and you would know that you have to go through rigorous training, and sometimes it's also experiential. A lot of the things you learn in the textbook, you have to experience it and then work through your feelings, and even just for Gabriel's system is a really solid system, and then even with that, to make it your own, to kind of make all whatever adjustment that's needed to fit your personality and circumstances. It takes like years, I think.
How long did it take you? Well, what was your personal experience?
For me is let's see. I took Gabriel's course. So with all the for me, it's like I spent a year and working on not really on trading, but on my psychology through the Super Trader program. So that's like a kind of year of kind of cleaning out of all the non-useful beliefs and all the beliefs that I didn't know existed, and about the market, about myself, the past and whatnot, right? To get into a good state, kind of baseline good state. And then from there, then I felt like, that was my decision. I decided not to, because I already knew before I joined the Super Trader program, I knew the problem is not the market or the system, it's me, right? I already knew. It's like I need to fix whatever problem that's stopping me from becoming profitable. And so then that person decided to concentrate the time on work on my psychology. And then once that's done, I had the transformation then. And then it took probably another year, I think, from learning the system and then to do a lot of simulation and then practice in the live market paper trading and move on to real money. Of course, starting with small position size and gradually scaling up. So yeah.
So everybody listening right now, I want you to take note of this. Here's somebody that's doing it right. Here's somebody that's taking it seriously. And you took a whole year to work on psychology trading because that's the most important thing. Most people confuse trading because, open an account, there's $500 and click up or down, right? And it's super interesting. And my hope with this episode is that people that been there, done that, see what it takes. And plan accordingly because it's super fun. It's being in the zone. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then once you become profitable, and then there's so much, you would do things so differently. And then with your investment, even if you don't trade very frequently, I think learning trading can also help in general, just investing. Your psychology is different, and your whole approach to making money work, right, is very different. There's so many opportunities to take advantage of, and of course, and the fringe benefit of becoming a better person. And in fact, actually, speaking of the importance of psychology, I once heard another super student say that, well, you can learn a trading system first, or you can learn and work on your psychology first. Either way, that's fine. But if you work on your psychology first, you probably lose less money.
Good.
I think that's well said.
Very good. And with that, I would like to thank you very much. I think that's a great episode. And anything else you would like to tell yourself or somebody else listening right now before we go?
Also, take it easy. And trading is not easy. It's, someone said it's simple but not easy. It's a lot of work on yourself. And I would just say take it easy, and it takes time, but it's very rewarding and it's worth it.
Right. Thank you for your time, and see you in the next occasion.
Okay. Thank you, Nate. It's a pleasure.
Did you learn something today? How can you apply your insights? What's next for you? The fastest way to make things happen is to just share this podcast episode with more people that may find it valuable too. Talk about it with them and surround yourself with like-minded people. Hope you found this valuable. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.
This podcast references opinions and is for information purposes only, not intended to be investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice.